Hey everyone, my name is Fallout, and this is my ultimate beginner's guide to Destiny 2 PvP. Before we get started, those of you here who are already subscribed to my channel will very likely know almost all of the contained information. But the Destiny community is an amazing and ever-growing place, so why don't we do our part to welcome new players into this wonderful, crazy community. If you have any friends who are thinking about picking up D2 with little to no prior Destiny experience, then maybe share this guide with them. That way we can begin to teach them the ways of the Crucible together. Alright, let's begin. Destiny 2 PvP is team-based 4v4 combat. There are several different playable game types in the Crucible. Clash is basically team deathmatch. Control is a form of territories where the more zones you have control of, the more points your team will earn for every kill that you get. Supremacy has dead players dropping things called crests on the ground, which you can pick up for points. And in Countdown, both teams have limited lives, with one attacking team attempting to arm a bomb while the defending team tries to stop them. Before you play though, the first thing you'll want to do as a Destiny player is to pick your class, which there are 3 of: Warlock, Titan, and Hunter. Each of these 3 classes has 2 subclasses available at the very beginning of the game, which will eventually become 3 subclass options for each class, giving you a grand total of 9 choices of what specific type of Guardian to play as. Don't think of this like some other games where each class has a very defined role to the point where you have to overly stress about team composition. In Destiny, while each class is relatively unique in their own ways, any combination of classes can easily come together, win, and cause destruction. To help you decide what you want to play as, you can go ahead and take a look at these skill trees, which tells you a little about what each subclass can do. In time, you'll find a subclass that appeals to your own personal playstyle, so don't be afraid to make more than one character and experiment around. You do have the ability to switch subclasses mid-game whenever you want, but doing so will reset your ability timers, which we will talk about right now. Every class in Destiny 2 has unique abilities, and for beginners, it's easiest to look at it this way. Each subclass has a melee ability, a grenade ability, and a class ability. Melees are good ways to finish off weak enemies up close, and landing melees can provide certain subclasses with beneficial secondary effects. Grenades can be used either defensively or offensively depending on the type of grenade you select from your tree, which there will be 3 options for you. And class abilities are utility-like in nature. Titans can create a protective wall of light, Hunters can dodge out of danger at the drop of a hat, and Warlocks can create a small zone on the ground that will either heal you or make your guns do a little extra damage. In addition to your base abilities and any other little neat things on your skill tree, each subclass has what's called a super ability. Supers are incredibly powerful and can easily kill entire teams, but they take several minutes of in-game time to charge. Remember that earning kills while playing will make it charge a little bit faster. Every subclass has a unique super, but there are generally 2 different schools of thought when looking at your supers: roaming and non-roaming. Roaming supers allow you to activate, then run around in a powered-up form for a short period of time, encouraging you to go looking for trouble while powered up. Non-roaming supers are sort of a one-and-done activation and are currently limited to just 2 supers: the Warlock Nova Bomb, an offensive explosion of energy, and the Titan Ward of Dawn, a protective bubble shield that your teammates can take advantage of. Both non-roaming supers will return you to your regular gun mode instantly after activating. You can see who in your game has their super fully charged and ready to go by looking at these icons at the top of your screen. Gold means that they're fully charged. Getting kills with your super, or blocking attacks with a super that has the ability to be used defensively, like the Sentinel Titan shield, will cause you to produce orbs of light. These orbs are only visible to your teammates, and if a teammate touches them, they will receive a small chunk of extra super energy. However, if your teammate dies before picking up any orbs that you may have produced, then they will no longer be available to that particular teammate. AKA, if you die, orbs go bye-bye. So if you can, try to get them quickly. Also, orbs are not shared between teammates, meaning if teammate A produces 2 orbs, then each of his teammates now has the opportunity to collect 2 orbs on their own, without worrying about them being taken by the other teammate. Your Guardian has 3 stats that can be changed by what armor you're wearing. Those stats are mobility, recovery, and resilience. Mobility is your movement speed and initial jump height. Recovery is how quickly your Guardian begins the health regeneration process after being hurt, and how quickly the health bar refills once the regeneration process has begun. And resilience is basically how much overall health your Guardian has. If the model hasn't changed very much since D1, then in my own personal opinion, you should be focusing the most on recovery and resilience. Extra resilience can occasionally help you live through one more bullet, depending on the gun that you're being shot with, and high recovery allows you to get back in the fight faster and therefore back to helping your teammates faster. While your gear does have a direct effect on your Guardian's stats, there is a special type of gear that beginner players should be on the lookout to collect as they play the game, and that is exotic gear. Exotic gear can come in the form of weapons or armor, but remember as you eventually expand your collection that you can only wear one piece of exotic armor at a time or wield one exotic weapon at a time. Exotics can grant unique benefits to your Guardian depending on what the gear or weapon is, and generally speaking in PvP it can help you out a great deal. Also, exotic gear, it just looks badass. Well, most of it does. Moving on, weapons. In Destiny 2 PvP, you can carry 3 weapons at once. Your basic primary, your elemental primary, and your power weapon. Both your primaries will always have ammo when you respawn. Primaries usually take several shots to kill an enemy Guardian, and you'll be doing about 90% of your in-game fighting with primary weapons. Primaries include weapons like auto rifles, SMGs, hand cannons, sidearms, pulse rifles, and scout rifles. Some of those weapons are designed to be used up close, and some are designed to be used more at range. Picking a good primary can depend a lot on the size of the map that you're playing, but what it really boils down to is, do you feel comfortable using it? Try to experiment with as many primaries as you can to find out which ones you end up really liking. Remember that if you're using an elemental primary to shoot an enemy who is charging at you with their super, that you'll do slightly more damage to that enemy than you would with your regular primary. When switching around between primaries to find the one that you like, take note that every gun in the game has its own little perk tree that you can look at and adjust as you see fit. Some tweaks can affect things like range, weapon stability, how the scope looks, and so on. Tinker around and find what you like. Power weapons are very deadly, usually capable of killing enemies in PvP with just one shot. You won't spawn with ammo for these guns though. The only way to get power ammo is by picking them up from power ammo stations, which exist in set locations on every map and periodically drop ammo throughout the match on a routine timer. It is very important for new players to quickly learn where these ammo locations are on every map, and also to keep the ammo timers in mind as much as possible. Picking up power ammo can easily turn you into a one-man army. Power weapons include weapons like sniper rifles, shotguns, fusion rifles, grenade launchers, rocket launchers, and swords. Keep in mind, when the power ammo becomes available for drop, only one Guardian can actually physically pick it up. Even if you have allies nearby the station, when you grab it, only one Guardian can actually take the power ammo per drop. If you die while in the possession of power ammo, you will lose all of it. Try to control the power ammo as often as you can. Every time it gets pulled, the game will tell you in the feed. Keep an eye on the in-game clock and give yourself constant reminders as to when you need to start thinking about the next power ammo drop. Not only does picking it up make it way easier for you to get kills and crush your enemies, but rest assured that if you forget about the ammo, then the other team is guaranteed going to pick it up and use it to melt your face. I've done some tests, and the science confirms that you don't want that to happen. While in combat, you'll notice that you have a radar in the top left corner of your screen. A thin red line on the outskirts of your radar means that there's an enemy off in that direction somewhere around the area of about 30-ish meters or more away. And if the red on your radar turns into a full-on thick slice of pie, then you're looking at an enemy much closer to you, anywhere from being right in your back pocket to being about 25-ish up to 30 meters away. Also take note that when you aim down sights with your weapon, your radar will completely disappear, and it won't return for about a second after unzooming. It's very important to try and keep an eye on your radar as frequently as you can, all while still paying attention to your immediate in-game surroundings. Tricky to do at first, but you'll get the hang of it. constantly having knowledge of where your enemies are and being able to relay that information to your teammates is crucial to winning. And that, my friends, is the basics of Destiny 2 PvP in a nutshell. Here's a few additional things for you beginners to keep in mind. Teamwork is key. Teams that communicate well, shoot together, and protect each other will win. Even though the power ammo is phenomenal, you're going to be doing the majority of your fighting with your primary weapons, so make sure that you really get familiar with your favorite ones. Ideally, you're looking for guns that, if used accurately, have a low time to kill. Keep practicing on your accuracy and on your Guardian's movement while shooting. Strafing and even occasionally crouching while shooting will help you out big time if you can learn it very well early on. Rather than trying to undercut the power ammo from a teammate who already has a nearby ammo station locked down, try thinking about pushing ahead to another ammo station and controlling both ammo spawns with your team. Learn the callout locations on every map, which is located below the radar, and get into the habit of telling your teammates exactly where the enemies are. And most important of all, remember that anyone can improve and get good. You just have to keep an open mind, be patient, and keep at it. Alright everyone, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider either sharing it, liking it, subscribing to my channel, or hell, maybe all three. If you have any additional thoughts that you would like to share about getting good for beginners, please leave them below in the comment section. I would love to read them. Hope you learned something. See you next time.